Good morning, church family. My name is Grace. I'm an advocate for Hands at Work in Africa. It's a group that we've unofficially been partnering with in Mungweri, Malawi for about 8 years now. And so we haven't had an update for a little while. I'm going to let you know some of the things that have been going on in the ground there and ways that we could pray and support them. So let me begin. In the lead up to Easter, Hands at Work invites us to take part in 40 days of prayer. Today's focus is the vulnerability of the African girl. Women and girls make up 70% of those living in extreme poverty globally. % of the chronically hungry are women and girls. 2 out of every 3 people never taught to read or write are female. 90% of African women can only work informal jobs. This has long been the case, but the situation of COVID-19 has made these burdens even heavier. A crisis in their community makes girls significantly more vulnerable. It greatly affects the most vulnerable families, most of which are headed and supported by women. Domestic violence and human trafficking are sharply increasing right now. It has risen to a point we haven't seen in 25 years. It's in this context that I'll share the story of Agnes. Agnes is 14 years old and lives near Mungweri, Malawi. She lives with her mother and brother and is one of our most vulnerable children. Agnes knew she was loved at the care point she visited daily, but began to believe that her life would be better in the big city. She believed she'd be able to find work as domestic help and have a more comfortable life. Sadly, Agnes did not find work and ended up as a prostitute on the streets of Lilongwe, Malawi's capital city. Betwell and Simon, 2 of our Hands at Work care workers, discovered where she was at and went to bring her home. There was much rejoicing at her return, but sadly, just a few weeks later, she ran away again. This time she ran to another town not so far away. Again, the Hands at Work team learned where she was, and Simon, along with her mother, went to beg her to return home. They found her badly abused, beaten by those she'd been staying with. Agnes sobbed when she saw the familiar faces from home. She told them she was ready to return. Agnes was welcomed back to the care point once more by her Hands at Work family and friends. She seemed happy to be back, but it soon became clear that she'd been traumatized by her experiences. Just before Christmas, Betwell visited her home and spoke with her mother. He heard that Agnes was expecting. Yes, her mother confirmed. Betwell promised they would do all they could to help. Unfortunately, that Thursday, Agnes ran away again. When the local care workers heard this, they immediately gathered to pray for Agnes' safe return. There's a saying in Africa, it takes a village to raise a child. Agnes' community includes her mother, brother, care workers. It includes the local and African Hands at Work family, Betwell, Sarah, Dan, Roy, and Violet. And it includes us, as we partner with them in prayer and support. The care workers are determined not to give up on Agnes, to find and protect her and keep leading her to Jesus. They believe Jesus calls us to run with him towards and not away from the problem, to get on our knees in prayer. Prayer for the vulnerable girls like Agnes. I'd love it if you join me for 40 days of prayer with Hands at Work. You can find the app in the App Store, or you can join us through Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. And every day there's just a little post, something to pray for, and a Bible verse that goes with it. And would you join me today in praying for Agnes and the Hands at Work team in Mungweri? Let's pray. Father, I thank you that you have given the care workers in Mungweri such a heart for these orphans in their own community, and that they're willing to sacrifice so much in order to care for them. I know how difficult things have become, even for our local care workers there with with COVID-19, so many have lost the work that they did have and are struggling in that way. Father, just provide for all their needs abundantly. And I pray for these kids that they're taking care of. And I pray that they won't have to endure any more lockdowns there. I know how hard it is. Their homes are not always even safe places, and especially the girls have become increasingly vulnerable to various assaults. Father, I just pray for your hand of protection over them, and just a real courage for the care workers as they carry on. Father, I pray for the team there, that you would help them to walk uprightly and to do, as it says in your word, the good they know they should do. And I pray that for us as well, Father, that we would be people that do the good we know we should do. I pray a blessing on Mungwari and the children and the care workers there, and I ask that you help us to continue to be mindful of the ways that we can encourage them and support them. And if you want to support them, another initiative that we're planning to start is I'll be making up prayer cards for the individual kids. If you could commit to praying for these kids, I'd love to hear from you. The prayer cards will include just their name and a little bit about them and some prayer points. So if you'd like to do that, please do let me know. You can do that through probably the church office. I'm sure they'll pass it on to me. And yeah, I'd love to see that happen. And additionally, if you feel like you would like to financially support them through Hands at Work, the support of one child is $25 a month, which even in these times, hopefully is doable for some people, more people in the church. And yeah, let's get these kids supported and partner with them any way we can. Thanks so much. God bless.